Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of InternMakers. We're here with Brooke. She's one of the university recruiters manager, and she knows everything about how to get into Microsoft. So
fingers crossed. Yes.
Yeah. So Brooke, do you want to start off with something? Maybe what does Microsoft stand for? What are you guys looking for in a candidate?
Yeah, great question. So first off, super stoked to be on this today. Second of all, there are so many different things we look for in candidates. The first thing I would always recommend you kind of think about is, what are you passionate about? And then we look for potential. So those two P's. When we talk about passion, it's, hey, do you love our products and do you want to help us make it better? Are you passionate about our mission to really empower people around the world? Those are things that are really important to us, and we really want it to be important to the candidates that we bring in. In addition, the potential piece really goes down to those skills that you're probably wanting to look for on a resume. When we think about education, we're open to candidates of any major. We have both business opportunities, we have technical opportunities, even some of our more technical roles like software engineering. We don't just hire candidates with a CS or a CE degree. We hire candidates with actually any type of degree, which is pretty cool. I even hired a music major one time, so it can happen. Yeah, it turned out it was a candidate who wrote his own program to be able to record music.
Really? That's
so
so
you never know.
Unique. That's so unique.
You never know.
And I feel like a lot of people sometimes have these own passions to them, and they're like, wow, should I share this or not? Right? Those are the things that make you unique, make you stand out. You remember this person, right?
Yes, I remember this person literally like it was yesterday. He was from Indiana University, and he we had actually met when we were walking into a career fair. I was lost. I didn't know where to go. He wasn't going to swing by the Microsoft Career Fair booth because he didn't think he could find an opportunity that would match his interests or experience. So we started talking. He was so nice. And the one thing I really got from him was this passion for music. And so I was asking more questions, learning more about it. He ended up really connecting with one of the other alums from Indiana University that was there. And they had a really long conversation, and he ended up interviewing with the original Microsoft Surface team that created that DJ keyboard. This was years ago. You might all be too young. But we originally had this really cool DJ music mixer keyboard that was on the original Surface that first came out, and he was one of 5 engineers that worked on that keyboard. So it kind of brought together his two passions.
I'm learning a lot of things today. And so what would you recommend for people to get ready for interviews?
So to get ready for interviews, first and foremost, I would study the job description, see what types of questions you can anticipate. If you're interviewing for an engineering role, specifically software engineering, I would really brush up on your data structures and algorithms. That's going to be a key component. I'd also practice on a whiteboard. For any business interviews and as well as technical interviews, you'll also just want to think through a couple of great examples of projects you've worked on. Oftentimes companies like Microsoft will ask you questions around collaboration. How have you worked with others, and then how have you worked with others to solve a problem? So be thinking about a class project you've worked on, maybe a hackathon project, anything you've done that you think kind of exemplifies where you've taken on a task, you've completed that task, and you've worked well with others through it. And those are the types of things that I think might help you prepare.
Awesome. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the software side. So could you tell us something about business? I have so many friends, and probably there's people here watching that are interested in business roles, right? They're like, well, I don't know how to code, but I really want to get into finance, marketing, communications or something. How can they apply to this, right? We know that there's a lot of positions out there. Can you give us more guidance to that, to those positions?
Absolutely. So any tech company, or any company for that matter, is going to have a mix of individuals on the tech side as well as on the non-technical side. I, for one, studied communication and psychology. I ended up deciding to get into HR after I left college, and I've really loved being involved in the recruiting side. We do have an HR rotation program, so if that sounds like you, please apply. For anyone else, we have a number of different programs specifically designed for early and career students you might want to explore. There's the finance rotation program, the HR Tracks program, which is our HR rotation program that I had mentioned. We also have a lot of marketing roles. We hire specifically for MBA candidates on some of our program manager positions across the company. There's a whole slew of different positions and opportunities, both internships and full-time. So if you want to check out the full list, you can go to microsoft.com/university.
Okay.
But know that we're absolutely looking for non-technical individuals to join our company. Again, those same skills are going to come out. What is your passion and what is your potential? What are you bringing to the table? But otherwise, we'd love to see anyone's application come through.
And you had told me you have a LinkedIn group, right, where you're answering questions for candidates.
Yeah, so we have a LinkedIn group specifically designed for university candidates from literally around the globe now are participating.
Doesn't matter where you're from.
Doesn't matter where you're from, what you're studying, what you're doing. We have our whole global team of recruiters are on this. And we're responding live to your questions. So we're also sharing out information about some of our virtual events too. So we host things like webinars to talk about sharing like interview advice, or maybe we'll have a panelist of people from across Microsoft talking about what they do on a daily basis. We actually just had one the other day, which we'll send out the recording to on this page. So go back and look now. It's called the Microsoft University Recruiting Team Group. If you have trouble finding it, go to my personal LinkedIn page and my article has a link to it. So Brooke Simpson, find me on LinkedIn, go to the article and you can find your way there.
And also you can share the link with me and we will post it in the description and they can like just click on it directly.
Awesome. Yes, I love it. But yeah, it's a great page. You can ask tons of questions, ask things like interview advice, like, hey, how do I prep for that program manager interview? Or, hey, like I'm going into those finance interviews, you know, what types of things do I need to learn? You're welcome to kind of chime in there, look at the chat, and it can be super helpful.
Are there any deadlines that come up your mind right now that can be helpful for them?
I would say for the majority of our positions, they will be filled by the end of the fall recruiting season, which wraps up in December, which is pretty crazy. That we hire
I'm so happy you're telling me this right now.
Yes, like thousands of college students into Microsoft each year, and almost all of those thousands will be found from now in August through the end of December. So if you can, apply early. There are some exceptions to that. Like user experience designers will still be hiring into the second half of the year. If you're working on your portfolios, continue to work on your portfolios. For some of our MBA recruiting, we also do that in the second half of the year. But for the most part, apply early. It's definitely
the earlier the better.
The earlier the better. The earlier you apply, that's when we have the majority of our positions open. As we meet more students, they take more of those positions. So the pool gets smaller and smaller in terms of what available opportunities are there.
Another question, Brooke, will you guys be going to any conferences this year where they can find you at?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
So we're starting the year off with, I'm not even going to memorize all of them, but I'll send you a link. We're going
you have a list of that?
We do have a list.
I'll link that below so that they can know what conferences to go, because I always say conferences are like one of the best ways to actually have that visibility.
I completely agree. The biggest ones we're going to this fall would be Tapia. We're going to Grace Hopper. We have a huge presence. The SHIP Career Fair. And then we also have some National Black MBA conference that we're attending and a few others. But those are the big ones in the fall. So definitely make sure to attend. But we can send you a more complete list.
Okay, yes, we will link that underneath. And I guess my last question to you would be, what major advice, like if you could give one advice to anyone, what would it be?
One piece of advice. Tell everyone and anyone you're looking for a job. Networking is still the #1 way to get a job. Whether you're talking to Mariana out on campus and you say, hey, I'm interested in Microsoft, she can directly connect you to a recruiter. Or you're talking to an alum, like utilize those people not just for introductions, but for advice. Like those are the people that can tell you what classes to take, what skills to talk about, how to prepare for an interview. Recruiters oftentimes have really limited schedules, so they're not always the best to actually give you advice. And so oftentimes you can actually have a lot more time if you reach out to an alum or someone like that. But
I agree.
Network. Yes.
That's the key to life. Network.
Yes. And watch awesome videos like this because they can be super helpful.
For sure. And something I would also say is have mock interviews with people who already have interned at Microsoft or something. For example, like maybe you can contact me, you can contact someone from your school that already has been here and they know what it takes to get here, right?
Totally.
Sometimes students between students share more secrets, right?
Yes.
But
yeah, no, I love it. And you can find anything on the web.
Sure,
you know, there's a whole Wikipedia page designated like
there's
Microsoft
like
interview
Glassdoor.
questions.
There's Glassdoor.
For sure. Glassdoor is awesome.
Glassdoor was my best
YouTube's
friend.
great. Even like our website, like go to MicrosoftLife.com as well, has some great articles from recruiters. There's so many resources out there, so make the most of those, but also build those great connections with people around you. I think reaching out to other interns is awesome, and obviously they were successful, so they can give you some great advice.
All right, so Brooke, I think that's it for our interview today, and thank you so much for sharing this knowledge with them.
Thank you for having me.
If this helps, share it with someone who might be interested in getting into Microsoft. And we look forward to seeing you here. You belong here, guys. Like all of you can be here.
Everyone. Yes, so please apply. We'd love to have you sitting here next to us next summer.
I know. All right, bye guys. Take care.